So hi, welcome after the hype. Most abrasive hellos.
Coming in hot.
Coming hot. This is what I like to do. I actually have a mic that works now, which is nice. Oh, man, it helps more when it's pointed at me. I'm your host, Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is Jonathan Hardesty.
Howdy.
It looks like you're just drinking milk. I know it's eggnog, but it looks like milk. It's just a classy glass of milk.
Nice cold milk.
Joining this week again, if you have not listened to last week's or last episode, because these aren't happening weekly, we're going to try. We're going to keep trying to do that. But we have the duets. We got Joel and Kelly on. Hello, Joel and Kelly.
Hello.
How hard is it for you to make the milk mustache?
Would you believe I practiced before this? You develop a technique.
Gross.
Yeah, I'm with Brian on this one. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, the easy answer would get like a cat dish and pour the milk in there and just
Yeah.
buy for apples.
Yeah. Well, all y'all with facial hair, it's not exactly attractive to think of.
Time to just cover.
Mine was long. I literally got it. I got it cut back this past Monday. What is today? Wednesday? Tuesday? Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Time.
Yeah.
When you're working like nothing but 12-hour days, your brain just stops working. They asked me to work in tomorrow, and I said no. Like, I'm starting Thanksgiving a little early. So yeah. Should we get started with what we're going to do today?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to start a little bit of an icebreaker this week. This week we will be. I'll get to the icebreaker in a second. This week, what we're doing at I'm all over the place. Deal with it. This week at After the Hype, we are going to be doing. Last time we were doing like not guilty pleasure, but like good distractions. Is I think what we ended up calling them, like something to take your mind off.
Escapism.
Escapism. There's the word. I'm in a much better headspace this time than last time. Obviously, if you listened last time, I was a bit of a mess. Now I'm just living
There's
in
many spaces.
Yeah. But as one does as they get older, in their 40s, closer to 40s, whatever it is, you kind of have less time that you did before, even though you don't, but you do. It's weird. But you miss stuff. So this week, our goal is kind of go back through movies that we missed, stuff you missed. Like what can we talk about that I wish I had seen at the time? And that's going to be kind of our goal for today. We got some movies. We're going to do some recommendations, some kind of the opposite of recommendations. What do you call those? Avoidances?
Yeah.
I don't not recommend. I don't know.
Warnings.
Vote.
Sure. But before we do that, I had an idea, and I'm stealing this from another podcast whose name I don't have. So we're lucky for us that we're not super popular right now. So no one's
Yay, attribution.
Yep. But they posted to Instagram and they had this little video of these guys listening to this song, and the song made me laugh so incredibly hard that I have to bring it back here. Now, I will give you the caveat. The song is AI. I'm not a fan of AI. I think AI is shit, and it's kind of ruining the industry that I hold very dear to my heart. But when something's funny, something's funny. That's kind of the way things are. So I'm going to play us a little bit of a song, and we can listen to as much as we want, or as little as we want. I'm going to add the stage right now. Here it comes. So this is coming from an AI band called Girly Girl Productions.
Already off to a great start.
They have such wonderful songs as 10 Drunk Cigarettes. That's what we'll listen to. Girly Secret, Coked Up Friend Adventure.
Oh.
This stuff, it speaks for itself. So anyhow, here we go. Assuming that it works. You guys hearing it?
Girls don't need men, Bunny don't need Ken. Us girls are doing fine on our own. So if you're a man, leave us alone. Getting girls rich, yes, that's a part of my plan. And I can name 10 things us girls need before we ever
Here we go.
meet a man. 1 new date, 2 lines of coke, 3 drinks from the bar, 4 more lines of coke, 5 guys fries, 6 sticks in my blunt, 7 more lines of coke, 8 pairs of shoes, 9 baby belts, and drunk cigarettes.
Oh, man.
Seriously,
Awful.
I don't need anything from a man. Actually, maybe give me some money. I don't need money from a man, I got my own, but I want money from a man.
I think it's enough.
Give me some money.
Give me some money.
Does everyone feel good and warmed up?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm anti-AI. I don't like what AI has been doing to us. It's been taking away a lot of jobs. But that shit's really funny.
And it brings joy. So that balances the scales a little bit, maybe.
Exactly.
I will always remember the phrase 10 drunk cigarettes.
They do so much coke in that song. Like I'm gonna out myself a little bit here. I've never done coke. Coke's not my speed. Not something I've ever been interested in. But I have a lot of friends who do a lot of coke. Like I'm not judging if that's what you're into. That seems like a lot. A lot, like right away as well. Like 2 lines of coke, 4 lines of coke, 7 more lines of coke. That's a lot.
That's
You get heart palpitations just by listening to this song.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, there you have it.
Welcome to After the Hype. Ugh.
yeah.
That song has also been blowing up more and more. So I'm like, I fear for the future. I hope it stays funny and doesn't actually start becoming real music because I don't know what it was, but it was funny. All right, let's get started on our movies. I usually get the ball rolling here, but how many movies does everybody bring? I brought 3. I can look at my camera.
I brought 3
I
3?
cheated.
for all our
What is-
viewers. 3.
Yeah,
I brought a movie and a board game.
yeah, that's just it. I brought 2 movies and a board game.
All right, we're gonna take some turns. We got enough. The idea was, did we all bring multiple? And I think we all brought multiple, so we can we can do some turns. Try to turn this less into like I'm gonna talk for 20 minutes, then John's gonna talk for 20 minutes. We're gonna try to keep the flow going. We're still learning our speed. We got cameras and stuff now. Deal with it.
Yeah, we gotta look at it, and then look
Yeah.
at us, and then look at us, and it.
Um,
If our cameras are in different places, like
yeah, mine's off to the side, as you can tell if you're looking at it. So every now and then I do with my very dramatic.
I should actually
And,
bring the window closer to the camera. There we go. I can kind of. There we go.
All right. So mine are going to get better as I go. I'm going to start with the worst. I'm going to go to the good one. So these are movies that I missed. They actually get a little bit older as they go along. So this one's actually from this year. So if you haven't seen it, you're going to want to jump ahead a little bit. That's the end of the spoilers. Anything. I didn't even tell you what the movie was. It's Argylle. If you haven't seen Argylle and you're afraid I'm going to spoil it,
Argyle.
give it a sec. Jump ahead a little bit so it doesn't say Argylle on the screen anymore. If you're listening to it, good luck.
We will
Came
not
out
put
earlier
any
this-
chapters in this.
Nah. Came out earlier this year, directed by Matthew Vaughn. I love Matthew Vaughn. Loved Matthew Vaughn is what I should say. He hasn't made a movie I liked in a while now. I still think he's capable of it, though. However, if Argylle is of any indication of his current standings, wow. I've never been so happy to have actually skipped a movie. My wife and I decided to turn this one on. I thought it'd be fun. I like Henry Cavill. I like John Cena. I like Sam Rockwell. Love Bryce Dallas Howard. Dua Lipa's there, I guess, for something. This is a woefully bad movie, is how I would describe it. It is determined to be like one of those movies that's gonna it's gonna keep you on your toes. Like what did you miss? No, it just sucks. Like it just sucks. And there's a cat. That's what I got. Like there's nothing to it. Like the cat doesn't have anything to do with the movie. It was in the trailers. Everything you saw in the trailers, it's there. The plot, it just kind of meanders around and does nothing. Henry Cavill is barely in it. He has like a few scenes in the very beginning, then like a tag at the very end of like, come up for the sequel. And then they do this thing where this is where I'm kind of getting the spoiler territory. Sam Rockwell is Argylle. Like that is the spy that Henry Cavill is based on. And then there's memory stuff where Bryce Dallas Howard does not remember that. Sorry, I got that wrong. Bryce Dallas Howard is Argylle, but the character that Argylle is based on Sam Rockwell. It's kind of confusing, kind of, bad. But while Bryce Dallas Howard will watch Henry Cavill do his stuff, or watch Sam Rockwell do his stuff. Every now and then it'll swap. It'll be Henry Cavill doing his stuff. And they do this like a body swap sort of thing of like, she'll be looking for a second and it's Henry Cavill punching people. She'll look for a second again, and then it's back to Sam Rockwell punching people because Henry Cavill's supposed to be a fictional character. It's a cool idea once. They do it the whole movie. And it gets really distracting and just kind of annoying. And that's ultimately where I come down to with the Matthew Vaughn stuff. I didn't see... Anybody see The Gentleman?
No.
Okay, I didn't see that. That was his, right?
I don't know.
I can look that up quick while we're talking.
I could be getting confused. I thought it was like the prequel to the Kingsman movies.
I gotta say, I'm just looking at the poster of this, and is striking me is that I think Henry Cavill could be a good Max Payne. Like that
You're
hair,
not wrong.
hair is Max Payne.
The Gentleman is Guy Ritchie, so nope.
Okay, so I'm thinking of the whatever the prequel to the Kingsman was, whatever that was. That's what I was thinking of. It doesn't matter. If you're looking at that poster, Joel, who would you imagine the main character was?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, definitely not Bryce Dallas Howard, who's like 3 deep. But
No.
yeah, she's the main character.
Based off the poster and the trailer, I was thinking this was Henry Cavill, and I was pretty gung-ho about seeing this because of that.
Yeah.
But then someone else saw it first and gave a review, and they were like, there's no Henry Cavill in this, except for various moments. And the interest plummeted.
Yep, and that's right where it should land. I have not liked a Matthew Vaughn movie since probably the first Kingsman. That was good.
Well, was the action at least okay, or no?
It's Matthew Vaughn. Like, I've seen it. He's not really bringing anything new to the table here, and it's just kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to watching it with my kid, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I'm not putting this on for my kid. That's kind of a waste of time.
So what makes a Matthew Vaughn action scene? Like what kind of attributes are you looking for?
I'm trying to put my finger in that is a little tough. Like there's something to a Matthew Vaughn sequence that has a bit more of an edge to it than other films. Like he has a little bit like his editing is a little frenetic, but not like Marvel choppy, if you know what I mean. It looks like things actually hurt, which does count for a lot. Like there's like the movie I always go to when I think like they just whiffed on the action is Birds of Prey. I'm a big DC fan. I love DC, but watching the action sequences in that thing, it looks like everyone's pulling their punches the whole time and it just doesn't click. This does not have that problem. They're a little wacky.
Like kind of a cartoonish, like Fatal cartoonish almost.
Yeah. The choreography's fine. It all works. It's just not fun to watch. And then it's not engaging. And then at the very end, you get this like credit sequence that's like, oh, and by the way, this is in the Kingsman universe. And it's like, but why? Like, what does that add? Like, now you just tied it into a dying franchise. Okay, great, thanks. I guess. Good luck.
Like
everyone.
how? Like how? That doesn't even make sense. Like that. I don't know. It didn't seem like it would be even remotely related. It's just like,
Nope.
Check this thing out over here, and I guess it's also connected. Hooray!
Pretty much. That's it. The next 2 movies I'll talk about are way more fun than this one, but I'm done talking about Argylle. I want this thing behind me.
I feel your relief. I am happy I missed it.
Like cat fur on a sweater.
What?
They're wearing Argylle sweaters. He's holding a cat. There's a logic.
Okay, all right.
You're getting 11 p.m. Joel, not 11 in the morning, Joel. There's a distinction.
One's funnier.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which.
That's for the audience to decide.
Hey, 11 p.m. Joel, why don't you go next?
I'm sorry. So, one thing we try to retain is a movie night with the kids, and there's only so many of the newer release stuff that come around where we actually want to watch it. So Kelly tends to mind back to Disney, older Disney. That's sort of sharing our childhood as well as some of your pet choices. But so my oldest mentioned wanting to see The Wild Robot, which heard good things about.
Solid movie.
Have no problem seeing it. But then it reminded me of another movie that I had heard good things about but never had the chance to see, which is The Iron Giant.
Hell yeah.
So The Iron Giant, Sorry, guys, I don't remember the name of who made it.
Brad Bird.
Brad Bird, thank you. So I know that he was. I looked at his Wikipedia. He had a pretty tumultuous journey, I think, through animation and trying to find this as his sort of big break. So interesting background. But the movie centers around a kid named Hogarth, who him and his mother worked out in a farmland. His mother is a waitress at a diner, and he just so happens to see a crash landing, or actually it's a person at sea that sees the crash into the ocean. He's sort of seen as crazy in town when he's trying to talk about it. And then Hogarth encounters it late one night when he's at home and his antenna gets chewed up, and he walks down a path and sees this thing trying to take a bite out of a transformer. And not that kind of transformer.
But it'd be cool.
What are you doing to Optimus? Jeez.
I feel like
no!
I think we'd be looking at more of a love story if they were involved.
This is supposed to be a kids movie.
But it's one of those tales of, it's kind of the ET thing. A foreign entity comes in and learns how to be human, or learns how to coexist, and while still being hidden at the start. The government agent thing was an unique angle of kids movies I've seen. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't exist other places, but in animation, I don't remember a lot of things I've seen that had the antagonist just being this one government agent that, also he's not a serious government agent.
No,
he's just sort of who they send in.
It was deliberately centered around the Cold War. So it was very
that's a good point.
Joe McCarthy, is in a McCarthyism kind of mindset.
Well, they even play like an in-movie PSA of, if the nuclear bombs come, put your hands
they
over
did
your
that.
head and go under your desk.
Yes,
So
that was
that's important context. You're right.
Yes, very, very, very important.
Because anything unknown was scary.
And
means
there
that
were a lot of
we
fear
need to send
mongers.
guns to it. So
yeah,
but it's a very it's a touching story, and then
it's beautiful.
You see this character arc of this robot that is fighting against its own instinct, especially when it comes to his sort of instinct to kill when he sees a weapon. And the interesting thing about language, language is actually a pretty interesting focal point of it too, because of how he's trying to teach this robot things through words, and somehow he grasps it quickly.
Family.
Yeah, family.
Yeah, that's
Groot.
Letty!
But
Quarter mile at a time.
you know what? He's very good at saying very few words. So.
Vin Diesel's at his best when he's at his least.
He's less is more, man. I don't know what to say. But I don't know. Do you have anything else to say?
It's a really cute movie. I'd never seen it before. I'd heard good things about it. I had a good cast to it, and I didn't realize it was made as late as it was. I thought it was earlier 90s, but it was 99. So yeah, I approved of it.
And very well.
Further proof that
the tail
the
end
best
of,
things came out in 99.
2D movies actually came out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
I don't get the animation anymore.
That's a lost art.
Yep.
Although not the only one to have like an agent chasing after the protagonist. There was a brief stint in Lilo and Stitch where they had a social service agent.
Oh yeah, the social
after
service. Yep, and the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
That
There was
that
more.
live action trailer came out this week. It looked weird.
Oh,
He
the
looks super
live
weird.
action one.
Sonic won.
He kind of looks. Yeah, he kind of looks like Sonic before they redid Sonic.
Poor ugly Sonic.
Yeah, poor ugly Sonic. I never saw the Chip and Dale movie that apparently he's in, because I'm like, I don't need to watch another Disney just nonstop reference movie. Like, I've seen them. I get it.
That is what it
You
was.
don't love all the references left and right. Reference.
And it was very on the nose. Like it was a little much, but
I'm kind of glad I skipped it.
you're not missing much.
All right.
How about that? How to Train Your Dragon live action?
Oof.
I didn't know any of this was coming out, so this
Oh,
is all
boy.
new to me.
My favorite thing about the How to Train Your Dragon trailer was the Simpsons meme I saw afterwards with where Marge is like, Bart, no, and Bart's standing there like, what'd I do? And it's like, oh, sorry, force a habit. And it was like, Disney, no. It's like, what'd I do? Oh, sorry, force a habit. Like, it's like, yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, I know I'll see it. Like, Corin loves How to Train Your Dragon, so we're there. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
at least we'll see it. I'm not sure we'll see it in theaters. All right, do we let's jump back to the West Coast. John, what's your first one up?
Sure, I'm going to start with the better one of my selection, if you will, just to kind of get the good out of the way so we can only go downhill from here. Oddity.
You're going downhill, I'm going uphill.
Right, we'll meet halfway at least. Oddity was one I've been meaning to see. I had seen a trailer for it, thought it kind of looked neat. There was the silhouette of the wood statue guy on the table in the poster, and it seemed like kind of an indie horror that had an interesting hook. And I'd heard some good reviews about it. I was very curious.
Yeah,
but
96 on Rotten Tomatoes. I've never even heard of this movie.
Yeah, but I missed it. Like, there wasn't anywhere nearby that was playing it when I was willing to go. In my 40s, going to a late-night screening at a theater is no longer fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
Unless there's an energy in the crowd, and if it's a smaller film or an indie film, there's not going to be an energy there.
No.
So, But anyways, it's neat. And I'd say that very kind of lightly, because it's got some interesting ideas, and it's a bit of a ghost story.
What is that guy?
It is let's see, I didn't quite understand it, but it was a totem.
I don't like him.
The main, yeah,
It does not look okay.
it's not. It's pretty creepy, and it's in most of the movie. There's basically this place that's connected to this psych ward that is being renovated. This guy and his girlfriend are renovating this place, and she gets to sleep there by herself as he works with the patients of the insane asylum psych ward thing, and she gets a visit from someone at their door who's like, "Can I come in? You're in danger." And she's like, "What? No, I don't like. Why?" He's like, "Someone's in there with you." And she's like, "What?" And I'm already like, "Okay, cool. I'm watching this late at night by myself. Awesome." And so she's an avid photographer, so she's been like capturing photos every few seconds, and then she chases him away, checks her camera, and there was someone there. And she gets attacked, and it's alluded that she doesn't survive. And there's this, we cut to her sister in this kind of ghostly curio shop who's blind, somewhat blind. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to find out who or what killed her sister, and she suspects the boyfriend who works in the psych ward as the doctor there. And it's this kind of cat and mouse game as she stays there. She won't leave the place where her sister died. She brings this totem with her, this wooden guy that sits at this table. And she unnerves everyone there until she figures it out. Or I don't know, it's not so simple. But it's really well done. It's simple with its ideas. And execution is very straightforward. I really liked it. And it was creepy. It was kind of one of the few times I've ever checked before turning the lights off, just because there was enough of staring into the dark, wondering what's there, the sounds, the ghost thing being more pervasive than seen, which was actually really nice. And just everyone there in the movie had a bit of they know more than they're letting on. So there was this sense of you not knowing until the very end. And I thought that was really cool.
Any of those moments where after the movie you close your eyes and you see a scene or an image from the movie that unsettled you?
It's mostly when they detail what the wooden man is and kind of its function. And once things start to move, there is a particular shot where someone's looking over this balcony. It's this weird, the layout's weird, and once you see it, it'll make sense why the movie is creepy, because the layout of this place is a bit inexplicable at times and very corner heavy. And the boyfriend looks over, the boyfriend of the deceased looks over and sees the wooden statue guy looking up at him. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like, it's played quickly, not like, whoom, jump scare, but it is a jump scare in a way, just because it's like sudden and you're not quite expecting it to look. You kind of think it's going to look like, okay, maybe the thing's looking at him. His eyes are following him or something. Or it has moved. Maybe it's moved over to the other seat, or it's, doing something goofy. No, it was staring up with his mouth agape, like upside down. Like you're looking at it upside down, and it's just a horrifying visage.
I mean, some of that stuff doesn't need to be outright terrifying. It just needs to subvert your expectations a little bit and catch you off guard, even with the tiniest thing. I know there are some movies we've seen where it's like a slammed door will sort of get you jumping,
Yeah, and the sound design of the movement of various things, maybe even that statue guy in the hall, these longer halls that are on like mezzanines, coming upstairs. The characters are always trying to place themselves in this place, so you're always trying to orient yourself at all times. And it gets worse when the protagonist, the blind sister, shows up, because you're with her more often, so you're not getting quite a good handle of things. And then the movie is totally fine with leaving her perspective for a little bit, going to like the new girlfriend before she gets creeped out and leaves, or the boyfriend, the doctor, and following him and seeing what kind of a creep he is, or maybe he is or maybe he isn't. And it's willing to let you not see things, and I thought that was actually kind of nice.
I've said this to a lot of people. I'm going to say it again here. You should see Smile 2. If you like
I
that,
want to.
That's
Smile 2. It just,
you say it several times.
yeah, it's really, really good. It's jump scares galore, so be prepared. It's gonna jump a lot. But beyond that, it's really, really good. You should see it. Just as soon as you said this, willing to let you not see things. Oh, you're gonna like Smile 2 a little less. That's kind of too bad.
That movie sounds interesting.
It does.
It does. It honestly does. I was intrigued.
I'm gonna put it on the list. Who knows when I'll get to that list? That's the kind of the whole purpose of this episode. All right, Kelly, you're
horror film. You can't go wrong.
All right. Well, there was something I wanted to bring up. Norse mythology is what we're doing right now in my mythology class. So I just, naturally, wanted the kids to see Thor Ragnarok. So, kind of, introduce some stuff, and, Loki and Thor, and of course the Hulk is in there, and then all of a sudden it's like
this is the Norse mythology.
Yeah, the Norse god Hulk, he just kind of shows up. But it's an entertaining movie. I wouldn't have gone out of my way to see that, but it was worth seeing it once, I suppose. But
I've seen it so many more times than once.
I'm a much bigger Marvel fan than I am a DC fan, for sure. But of course, and I noticed on there as well, Harley Quinn, of course, is my favorite DC character. But anyway, Thor. So we have been talking about Thor and Loki and all of that, and they're doing the slideshow and all that. I love Harley Quinn. But so we're doing this whole Norse mythology thing. So they saw it, and it's just I don't know. It's a fun movie for what it is, but I realized that I wasn't really missing a whole lot. I mean, I'm probably alone on this, but it's just, I don't know.
That first Thor movie.
That was a great movie. That was a great movie. I loved that movie almost as much as I loved Guardians of the Galaxy.
I will
Thor
say,
is good, man. I like all three Thor movies. Like, I know I'm nuts. I know a lot of people hate Dark World, but I don't know. Kenneth Branagh really brought in the first one. I loved it. Second one's good. Third one's fun.
Never saw it.
Yeah, I rewatched them a while ago, and the first Thor shot up like insanely high, and then the rest kind of dropped a bit. And even this one, I was just like, I don't know how much into the humor I'm really into at this point in time. Can we dial it back? No? Okay, cool.
I have fun with it. It's like a party. Like, it's not. It's kind of like exactly what Kelly's saying. It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, Thor's a fun character. He's probably my favorite of all the Marvel characters. I suppose he has that fish out of water kind of stuff going on. But
don't let the curiosity get to you. Don't see Love and Thunder.
See,
he's right.
Going back after Love and Thunder. Love and
I'll
Thunder
stay
made
away
like
from
was-
any of that. Yeah, that's fine.
Speaking about wanting 2 hours back.
Oh no, please.
Holy
I'm
crap, that
not.
movie
I
sucked.
believe me, no. No. However, there is one diversion I wanted to make. I know it was, of course, about Thor, but I wanted to give a really, really great big old shout out to the movie Heretic. I thought it was amazing, and I just wanted to say this because I completely forgot we saw this. So it was.
How about this? How about this?
I forgot, but it was great.
This is a episode about movies we missed back when they originally came out.
Mm-hmm.
We missed this theater when it came out. So the Last Picture House is the name of the theater here that
there you go.
was running it. It's ran by the writers.
Yep, by the writers of this. No, the directors.
Well, they're the directors of this, but they wrote A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place,
right?
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
They did.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Quad City boys.
But yeah, they
did something right.
And Hugh Grant was awesome, and I haven't seen Hugh Grant in forever, but the whole, that's my kind of horror right there, is the psychological thriller horror of it all. It kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I was like, what the hell is going to happen? What's going on here? And it really did not disappoint. It was amazing. And just to throw it out, they're about these two girls who are like Jehovah's Witnesses. And so they go to this man's house because he requested information about they're Mormons. Mormons, that's the word. So they were going around. He wanted more information about the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and all that. So they went there, and it was not the slasher, thriller film. He got them in psychologically, kind of talking to them, asking them questions, kind of drawing them in. They weren't even supposed to be inside, but he just kind of, drew them in a little bit. And it was this whole, I don't know, it was this whole idea of, that master manipulation of it all. And then you don't know what's happening until it happens. And it was just, I don't know, just wanted to kind of give a quick shout out to how brilliant I thought it was. So yeah, that was my really, I don't want to say happy, it was not happy, but I was happy to see it. And so, yeah.
What was the pacing like for it? You said it because it was all like kind of more psychologically thrilling.
Yes.
Was it pretty quick to it, or was it kind of a slow burn?
It was a slow burn, but it was steady. It didn't like stop and have like it didn't have like traffic jam or congestion or anything to it. It kept flowing, but no, it was not fast. But
I like that. The movie had a traffic jam.
So many do.
Some do.
But
I'm about to talk about one that has a big traffic jam in it, so don't worry. No, my big takeaway from Heretic, I think it make a better play. I think it was a good movie. I really liked seeing it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great play.
I think it'd be way better as a play.
Interesting.
But,
okay.
and also as much as I loved Heretic and I really did enjoy it, coming at it from like religious studies, like I wasn't a major, I was a minor. I didn't even finish my minor, but like I'm just like wrong, and then it just started driving me nuts. And I'm like you can't talk about these religions without talking about Zoroastrianism. They don't ever mention Zoroastrianism once. So I'm like, your entire, it's fine. No, it's a horror movie. I got it. We're good.
Yeah, I gotta be careful.
No,
with those,
I agree.
Sometimes it'll be. Yeah, sometimes it'll be off, and I'll just be like, "Oh, this is really taking me out of it," and that happens more often than not now these days. So that's too bad.
But this one, like, it's good. It's just, I ruined it for myself. All right, I'm gonna jump into my next one because we've been talking for a while now, and I don't want to keep us here all night. Well, I do selfishly, but I also want to be nice. So the next one I'm talking about, I'm gonna try to keep this as brief as I can. Barbarian. This is a movie that was recommended to me many many times. I was told not to watch a trailer, just go in as blind as you can, so I did. I somehow avoided the trailer for 2 years. I knew nothing about this thing going in, other than we had a conversation once. It might have been on the show where somebody said, "Oh, you mean like the thing in Barbarian?" I'm like, okay, so I know there's a thing in it. I don't know what the thing is, but I know there's a thing in it. I could guess
Your one
monster,
clue.
and that's kind of where I went. I was right. Yep. I was pretty close. I guess monster thing, there's a monster thing in it.
Yeah.
I think Barbarian, I think it is a okay movie. Is it good? Yeah. Is it bad? No. Is it really was it worth waiting 2 years to see? No. If I'd never seen it, would I be missing something? No. Like would I recommend you now if you'd missed it to go out of your way to go see it? No. Like it's my biggest problem with it is I don't think the director had enough maturity to make this film. And if you know who the directors are, they're the people who did The Whitest Kids You Know back in the day. They did Miss March back in the day. Like these guys are very funny goofballs. So I'm not trying to take that away from them. But when you have this movie that is specifically, at least what I'm trying to infer it to be, is about how women get treated in the world differently than men. If a guy goes into a house and there's like already somebody in that Airbnb and they're like, hey, just come in, we're going to figure this out. The guy will likely go inside and figure this out. You ask a woman to do the same thing. You're basically saying, hey, do you want to get murdered? Come on in. Let's get murdered. It's going to be great. Like, it's just, it's a different world and things are approached differently. When a woman goes to the police officer to say this happened to me, she might be listened to, she might not. A man goes, they're more likely to be listened to. I'm not trying to make controversial statements. It's just kind of the way the world we live in. And this movie tried to approach that subject in a very kind of believable way. And I'm like, but with a very unbelievable story with this monster in a basement and all the kind of craziness. And I'm very into that. And I'm having a lot of fun with, fun's the wrong word, but I'm very intrigued by this and I'm very brought in by this. And then it just goes away. And then we have a breastfeeding monster, like trying to like hold Justin Long in like a headlock while forcing this monster boob into his mouth. I'm like, what is happening?
It's too bad that it does try to tackle some interesting things up top because it gets so goofy and a lot of that stuff gets a bit lost after the first half for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was laughing a lot in the back half and I wasn't expecting to. It was a weird watch. And the reason I recommend it, and the only reason I do, is because if no one has any inkling about what it's about, it's going to be a weird watch for them too, and we can kind of commiserate in that way.
But like, if you're to split it into 3 movies, where you have the first movie, which is the one I was kind of talking about, the second movie is this weird Justin Long movie where he's like getting Me Too'd because he raped someone, and it's like, what does this have to do with the monster movie the movie about women I was watching earlier, and now it's this guy who brutalized a woman. We're supposed to be on his side. Like, what is happening here? And then the third movie is a monster movie where they jam those 2 stories together, and they do not blend at all. So I'm like, I agree, it's funny, and watching like the monster thing is funny, but at the same time, I also have this like, the monster thing it's an inbred woman because a guy just kept having sex with his children, and then his children, then his children, then his children, and it made this inbred monster which just has this inexplicable strength and these crazy arms. I'm like, this is just like it's so formula, slapped together. It's just so slapped together that it makes like what you were doing in the beginning. This was so smart. What the fuck happened? And like it kind of ruined the rest of the movie for me. So even if like the rest of it was funny, I'm like, I don't care that it's funny. It's just you were doing something great. What happened?
They got distracted at each like portion, at each crossroads of the movie. Because in the beginning, what made the Airbnb part of it kind of fascinating to me is who they cast as the guy, Skarsgård, who you're thinking like, well, he's totally
Pennywise himself.
Yeah. They cast Pennywise as a normal guy, like he's just a normal guy, and I thought that was, of all the horror films I watched lately, that was kind of the most interesting of the subversions that this movie decides to just do nothing with, and then doesn't tie any of those things together. It's 3 different movies, like you said, about abusing women that don't have any sort of through line or critique to them.
And then it's just what happens.
Yeah.
Like it didn't work for me. I think it was very, very overhyped. Even as like a fan of horror and monster horror and all these sorts of things, again, I'd rather watch Smile. Like, And definitely Smile 2. Have I mentioned you should see Smile 2? You should see Smile 2. It's real good.
I should see.
But that's it. I don't need to keep going about
You're
Barbarian.
right.
Yeah, you should see Smile 2. Smile 2 is real good. All right.
Just need that as a shirt. See
Joel,
Smile
what's
2.
your see Smile 2? It's real good. Joel, what was the board game you want to talk about?
But first, from our sponsor, Smile 2.
I'm actually-
Smile 2 in theaters. Now.
It's real good. You should check it out. It's on Apple TV.
Okay, I'll
I had
give you a
nothing to do
choice.
with this movie.
So I'll give you a choice here. I can either talk about this board game or a TV series.
Well, it's up to you. Which TV series are we discussing?
We've never done a board game. Board game it up.
Okay, all right.
Bring it up,
there you go.
Let's
I'm
be
gonna do
edgy.
it.
Let's be new.
I'm sending you all a picture.
Let's be
here.
flat.
And we are trying out the Lord of the Rings adventure book game.
Yes.
The reason why I said it here is that, as a playing catch up, is that shamefully we bought this.
Yeah, we bought it like a year or so ago,
Yeah.
and we just started it tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's been worth the wait. I think it's.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm
I-
saying that we should have done this. A long
I know
time
we
ago.
should have, but it's a complex game, but it's worth it. It takes some time to understand
I'm
the
out.
directions.
I'm out. No way. Just look at this picture. No way. I'm out.
That's what I was
No
thinking. I
patience
was like,
for that.
I don't know if I can do this, but it's going through chapters, and I love it because we're following the story, and it's super
So
fun.
the entire game is a storybook. I think 9 or 10 chapter storybook. Each chapter
8.
8. Excuse me. Each chapter is one page like this with a map and then details about what the different objectives are in order to complete that chapter. And each chapter is centered around a piece of the story, it's the movie story. It's the movie trilogy, which fits really well within our parameters that we want to play with.
Yeah.
But basically each round is you move your token characters. There's an enemy round where they move, and it's mostly done by card draws, and there will be a card template for that chapter. And in this case, it was if you rolled a certain 1 through 4, a hobbit would go to this hidden space, and then if it was higher, you would be moving the Nazgul tokens around and around. And it is complicated.
It is.
It is very
we
complicated.
had to restart a few times,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so for
Sold?
Opposite of sold.
uh,
Unsold.
so I'm going to out
Return.
myself here a little bit too. The reason
Keep
why
the
we had-
receipt.
no, it's good. It's good. And I'm a big critic of complicated games too. Oh no.
Cards on the Table. I originally thought this was a 9 p.m. Central Time recording. So we sat here and we were like, oh, what's going on here? And then I looked at the chat and saw my mistake. And in order to soothe the wound a little bit, that's what prompted this a bit. So
broke
we
it
had the
open.
open 2
I
hours.
guess we should play the
What?
Lord of the Rings game.
Ed gave us some time, and we was very happy to.
We'll get through
The best
2
part
feet
about
of the game.
The best part of the book was that it's actually the game is actually a book. I like it. I think that's kind of fun. The board's an actual book.
What?
So the board is an actual book.
Oh, you mean the board is an actual book? I was joking about Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings. You betcha, it's a book.
It's based on a book? But no, it's actually
the
formatted
board
to fit,
game is an actual book.
Yeah, it is literally a book with the thickness of those children's book pages, like that really dense kind of.
Yeah, the
Okay,
board,
yeah.
the board books.
Board books. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Still have a few of those kicking around. You don't really read them too much.
Yeah,
Yep.
They're taking the hobbits to the empty space. The empty space.
But you can't have 2, otherwise it's game over.
Space.
We're
Where's the Gandalf token for a much desire to play with it?
we're we're dangerously close to hamster dance here in terms of
We are.
age. That's
Ah.
scary.
Is it good quality though? Like, what's the quality of the game? Like, in terms of its pieces and its board? Like, is it pretty hefty, or is it
You
kind of
saw
like?
the picture; it looks great.
It's
I don't want to play it, but the quality looks fantastic.
It really is, and it's nice that
the
card stock.
cards are beautiful too.
I'm
Oh,
very
cool.
nervous about shuffling anything because it's one of
Yeah.
those. This is so nice. I don't really want to tarnish it.
But yeah, the cards are beautiful. The pieces are beautiful. The little figurines are really nice and sturdy. It's beautifully assembled.
And even some of the cards, they're these special action cards, and they'll have profiles of the different characters with the action, and they are like drawn profiles of the different characters from the movies. So it isn't even like they just stamped a picture, a screenshot from them. They're all illustrated in it as well. So it's a neat addition to it.
All right. We're gonna ping pong back to John and then go to Kelly, and then John and I will finish this thing up with our last ones.
Good deal.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense math wise? I know we've been talking for a while. We'll try to keep going a little bit quicker now, just so that we can get to everybody.
Yeah, my next ones are going to be kind of quick, just to highlight them. The one I want to talk about is the Autopsy of Jane Doe. I missed this one completely, and just happened to
Is
be
that
kind of
Daisy
cruising.
Ridley movie?
No, actually, it is a. It stars Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch as morticians.
I did hear about this movie. That is a little bit ago, isn't it?
Yeah. I hadn't heard of it until coming across it on the on a random streaming site. It has those they'll all autoplay something, so I just started watching that instead of actually watching it at first. And yeah, Brian Cox was in this, and Emile Hirsch as a father and son coroners who inspect the bodies and do autopsies and things. And through the course of the movie, they get this body that they autopsy that is real spooky and evil and ghost-like and horrifying. But the big thing about this that kind of drew me in was those two actors. They act the shit out of this movie, even though the movie just gets dumber the longer it goes on. The more you uncover about the body that they're autopsying, it becomes less interesting the more you know. Like, its interest is in the mystery. And it ends kind of in a very typical horror fashion where it's like, is the body going to keep going on and do other horrible things? Whoa, maybe a sequel. But the acting pedigree on display, the movie doesn't deserve them, I guess is my review. Because they play a great father and son duo, and the whole time that they're getting their shit wrecked, it is tragic. And I'm feeling like sad for them and wrapped up in the whole tragedy of this thing, even though the plot is really dumb. I thought that was fascinating. And like, I probably would have definitely not seen it when the trailers were out. Like, I probably would have missed it for various reasons in terms of its presentation. But now I'm just like, this was worthwhile, at least for the acting.
I mean,
Even if
Emile
I
Hirsch
can't
was
really-
is always a really good actor whenever he shows up. He's just apparently a horrible human being outside of acting. So it's like, okay, probably why he doesn't pop up too often.
Right. I mean, we've talked about his performances a few times and things across the history of this podcast. And yeah, no, he's
We're
also
usually pretty
really good
positive
in
on
this.
him. Like his stuff is good. It's just I don't ever want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Not that was an option. No, he wasn't offering.
Definitely not in a mortuary. I will not be hanging out with him there.
Yeah, he's
But
on.
Now,
Nothing's
who
done
would you
well.
hang out with in a mortuary? That's a question.
I'd have to think about that one. Probably Vincent Price.
That's a solid choice.
I mean, I guess the tone.
Because he would be like, look at this silver table. It's so creepy. And I'm like, yeah.
I was going to
Whatever you
LeVar
say.
Burton.
And his
LeVar Burton.
love.
I guess that might be soothing, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah,
I want a reading rainbow in a
I was just
mortuary.
gonna say
in the
reading
corner.
rainbow and some.
We're going to read some toe tags.
Yeah, this is the Book of the Dead.
The skeleton of Bob Ross.
Oh God. Ah.
Pretty
God.
black clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the not so happy trees.
But yeah, that's pretty much my review of it. It was great acting across the board. Absolute dumb plot. So
That's too bad.
Yeah. right, Kel, what was your last name?
Mr. McMahon.
Oh.
I never knew any. I mean, I knew the bare bones about everything that the WWE and all the wrestling federations are about, and I had no idea he was such a scumbag. I really did not know this man was the way he was, and
Worse.
Why are you the way you are?
I knew.
Why are you?
It was.
Stop it.
It becomes, yes, exactly. It becomes this like existential problem, but I just moving away from like even Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, and it got really sticky with like, I don't know, around the time what's his name, Steve Austin,
Stone Cold.
yeah. So he got really like shitty around that time. It was just like then the whole persona and his wife coming into the scene, and I don't know. It's just it's so shady and nasty and awful.
It paints a picture of a very disturbed person from childhood.
I know,
with a chip on their shoulder and the need to conquer and have conquest, more so than anything. And it's no wonder, given that there's that level of success they attain, because that kind of ruthlessness, I think, is unfortunately what some people need in order to. And,
yes.
And I mean, they are sort of the modern day like Carnival Barker freak show in some ways.
Oh yeah, they are.
And that at least when I was watching it, and prior to that, you got stuff like Doink the Clown and Macho Man Randy Savage, and it is a fascinating journey.
It's fascinating, yes, and it's just like.
Had you been introduced to any aspects of wrestling before watching this documentary?
Only Hulk Hogan. Of course, I knew Andre the Giant. I knew about Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The Rock.
The Rock, of course, The Rock and John Cena.
Yeah.
But I only knew them.
Well, you never really saw John Cena.
Yeah.
Sorry, wrestling joke.
I still prefer the potato salad joke personally, but
So I knew who they were essentially, and I knew basically about him and the Bella Twins through the soup, because they kept making fun of them a lot. So that's really how I got introduced to John Cena. But I knew nothing about like how deep things went and how awful and the I don't know, the personal rivalries and the resentments, and it's just all awful stuff. And I think it goes back to the whole, you have too much money, and it just he's not doing what he should be doing with that money. Let's put it that way.
Well, never in that documentary does he show any kind of attrition, any kind of like remorse. They even asked him if he regrets anything. It's no. It's that kind of, he's pure id.
He is
in the worst kind of way.
Sociopathic narcissist. I mean, that's what it is, and his persona shows it. And it was like they said, like Hulk Hogan at the very beginning of it said, I don't think any of us really know him, and I believe it. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can. There's no depth to a person like that, and then it got really strange when his wife and his children got in on the game, and it's like this. It became this ridiculous, this freak show, like you said, a freak show of I don't even know what. It got like nastier as it went on. So I had no idea this was like a whole big thing, and I didn't even know what the WCW was. So that was a new discovery.
I only know them because of the N64 game of WWF versus WCW. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah.
Played the shit out of that.
Yes, that was
a good game.
Yeah, it was.
It really was.
And it probably was, but I never had a Nintendo 64, nor did I ever have any inclination of this whatsoever. So
Oh, man.
it's been an experience. It's interesting to see more narcissists with, a lot of money and power doing a lot of horrible things, and it just, I don't know. It's just
Getting real up in here.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you're gonna find the most uplifting stuff from us.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of uplifting, I'll go with my last movie, the most uplifting of all films. Everyone loves it. Everyone has told me to see it, had to see it. It's not uplifting at all. I'm talking about Elvis. Finally saw Elvis. Came out in 2022. Austin Butler was up for a whole bunch of awards in 2023. He should have won all of them. I loved the shit out of Elvis. Has anybody else seen it?
No.
Holy smokes. It is more of a cautionary tale on being a celebrity than it is a biopic on Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at times, you almost don't feel how big of a celebrity he was. Because of the way that's told. Because this whole thing about, like, it's more about people using him to get money and fame than it is about how famous he was. So it's like a really odd approach, but it still feels like undeniably Baz Luhrmann, which I've always been a big Baz Luhrmann fan since I saw, like, when I was a kid, when I saw Romeo plus Juliet, or however you fucking supposed to title that thing.
That's what we're watching in English 1 right now, yeah.
Whatever you're supposed to call that thing. Ever since I saw that movie, I've been like, I like this director. He's got a voice. And I've gone back, I've seen everything he's made. Some of it's great, some of it's Australia. Take that for what you will.
Yeah.
Elvis is him back in his absolute fullest form. It's a movie that overstates its welcome by about 10 minutes. That sounds like Baz Luhrmann.
There you go. Yeah.
Style over substance. That sounds like Baz Luhrmann. But even though you have that, it's still, the substance is still absolutely fantastic. And that's true here. My wife told me as I got home and I started just kind of gushing about how much I liked this movie because I watched it when I was at work because I had a lot of downtime one day. And she's like, honey, you have a crush on Austin Butler. And I'm like, hey, now, you're right. He's a good-looking guy, man. Like, I'm not afraid to admit it. Absolutely talented. He was my favorite character in a movie this year when he was Fade Rotha in Dune Part 2. He's absolutely incredible in Dune Part 2. Elvis, absolutely incredible. However, as much as I'm saying Elvis is the movie to see 2 years ago, you should still see it now if you missed it like me. It's absolutely worth it. It's fantastic. It's going to make you want to listen to Elvis music. All of that. There's a Tom Hanks-sized elephant in the room. And holy shit. This is, I want to say, the worst performance he's ever done. I haven't seen Pinocchio, though. So he might be worse than Pinocchio from what I've heard. But this is like, he's in a different movie. You have this absolutely amazing story going on with all of this amazing actors, this amazing music, cinematography, everything. It's firing at full tilt the whole way. And then you have this cartoonish, cigar-wielding, mobster-esque guy does not fit in the movie. And he's pulling this accent that just doesn't work. So, like, there's a sequence where, like, Elvis is supposed to be, like, getting back at it. And, like, he's going to do a Christmas show. And I don't remember if this is real or not because it's Baz Luhrmann, so who knows what's actually happened and what didn't happen. I'm too lazy to look it up. We're going to do this Christmas show.
Real.
Yeah, he's going to do a Christmas show. And they're like, to do this Christmas show, you have to sing Christmas songs. And he's like, but my brand is tanking and people like Elvis songs. I think I'm going to sing Elvis songs. And you're going to sing Christmas songs and you're going to like it. Fair enough. He doesn't. He sings Elvis songs. But it's over. They're taping it over 2 days. And the second day, he's going to do it. And I just can't stop hearing. I'm going to do a terrible impersonation. I apologize in advance. But it's something similar to he's going to sing Sandy Claus Comes to Town, or he's not going to sing anything at all. And it's like, what? And
I heard echoes of Tom Hanks in your voice there. Yeah.
Good. At least there's something. It is the most woefully strange choice. Like, Tom Hanks is so talented. I'm really hesitant to say he did a bad job here. I think this is what he was told to do. I just don't know why. And here's the thing. It's 2.5 hours long, or almost 2:40. Very, very long movie. Mm-hmm. And Tom Hanks is in the whole fucking thing. Yeah. And even with that god-awful performance that is just rips you out of the movie every time you see him, it's still that good.
Yeah,
You should see it.
his parts in the trailer turned me off from seeing the movie. Like putting him in the trailer, Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. I'm like, oh, Tom Hanks.
Who doesn't
And
love
then
Tom
he
Hanks?
talks.
Yeah,
And
everybody
he
loves
talked
Tom
in the
Hanks.
trailer. They gave Tom Hanks dialogue in the trailer, and I was like, oh, rental.
What is that? And
Yeah.
it doesn't get better. In fact, it gets worse as the movie goes on. But it is still probably the best movie from 2022. Austin Butler absolutely deserved the Academy Award he didn't get. He deserved all the awards he did get. I'm a huge fan from here on out. I loved it. I will buy this movie on like 4K. I will go buy it. I will watch it again, even with Tom Hanks. See the movie. It's that good.
Okay. So basically, grin and bear the Tom Hanks because the rest is excellent.
Yes, 100%. And even with that, yeah. Tom Hanks did his best to bring this movie down, and he couldn't do it. It's
Tom Hanks
absolutely
could never do that. He could never do that.
absolutely worth your time. Check it out.
Now we just need to watch it to see if Brian's right.
See,
Well,
there it is.
I don't doubt it. Hey, everybody has an act they have to play at some point or other. I can't blame Tom Hanks for that.
I have trouble blaming him because he's one of the best actors ever and one of the nicest people in the
Amazing.
history of time. Like, you
Yeah.
can't say bad things about Tom Hanks, and I just said a
Never.
whole bunch of bad things about Tom Hanks.
You didn't say
It's
a
not
bad
true.
thing about him.
Hey,
you said
just-
a bad
It's
thing
impossible.
about his performance.
The part, and not even his.
Specifically the accent. If he didn't have the
Yeah.
accent, I think it'd go a little better. But that, you gotta say,
Yeah.
"Here comes Santa Claus."
Yeah, oh God.
Oh,
Yeah, but that
Nah.
sounds more like a Baz Luhrmann thing. So
That sounds like a character from the Polar Express.
Yeah. There you go.
kinda, yeah,
Somehow Zemeckis snuck in the room. He's like, "Hold on, I can fuck up Tom Hanks again."
yeah. Well,
Is this that meme with the guy around the corner like, ooh, yeah.
Oh,
And I'd say that
man.
as he fucked up Tom Hanks again this year with the movie Here, the stupidest idea for a movie of all time. What if we do a whole movie from one camera angle? It's called a play. Idiot.
That's a
Yeah,
second
dummy.
reference to a play tonight.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good.
Yep.
John, what you got?
I wish I could say that we can only go up from Tom Hanks, but we're going to be going down. We're talking about bottoms. I saw this. Yes?
Continue. I think Bottoms is one of the most brilliant movies ever. I fucking love Bottoms. That movie is so fucking good. I could pop off so hard right now. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no, just like the premise is two senior high school girls who start a fight club to hook up with some cheerleaders. And the trailer, when I saw it, I was like, okay, I mean to see this because there was a lot of violence. There was a lot of kind of vulgarity, and it kind of had this angle of like raunchy comedy thing going on. And I watched it the other night just because I was like, oh, it's available for streaming. Let's give it a try. And it just doesn't deliver on any of it. I'm sorry if you love it and it does to you, but
It delivers on all of it. The movie is
know it does not.
brilliant. That is one of the best
It is-
written, best performed.
No.
The world building is absolutely incredible.
there is no
the
writing.
movie is
It is
so good.
improv.
This is real good.
Oh, the movie is
Well, it certainly
so
looks interesting.
good. And oh my god. Oh my
It's
god.
just,
Like
I got real impatient with every time we were on someone, they just riffed for like what seemed like forever. They just kept talking and talking. And it's just like, we're not getting to anything you're trying to do here. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I liked, what is her name? I'm going to mispronounce it. Io Debiri. She was
I
in
can't
The Bear, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Great in that. Just kind of just
funny,
shuffling around all
relatable,
shucks.
amazing. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally.
And just it was too like I would say my favorite part, and this isn't is the ending, where it's finally like, okay, let's just go violent and go nuts with it.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
But even
over
then,
here.
it's just like, I don't know. There's so many choices that could have been better, and I just didn't like any of it. I'm sorry. It's just the performances didn't grab me. It didn't feel like they were doing anything other than waiting for the director to say cut in many scenes.
I'm floored by this. Like the performances were great because they're relatable. They're actually being the people in an incredibly heightened world. The choices in this movie were so good because it took everything and turned it up to 11. All the football players throughout the entire movie never take off their football uniforms. They are football players. Like, it is constantly funny. The characters make absolutely no, like their main quarterback is like a total wimp. The tiniest things happen to him and he will cry and flip out and he's like, hey, nobody loves me. Everything is at such a heightened level that nothing needs to make sense. And because of that, everything does. And it's just, I can't even, I'm at a loss of words. I can't believe you didn't like it. That is one of my favorite movies of all time, let alone, like, not all time, but of 2023. One of the best in my top 5. Just brilliant through and through.
It does for me, it does the Ghostbusters 2016 thing where, like, the standout persons aren't the main persons in this. Like, Rachel's not, nah. Just kind of like, okay, keep talking, fine, whatever. You're just doing your thing.
Hysterical the whole way through.
Just, I don't know, like the best bits are in the trailer. Like, I kept expecting there to be like, are we gonna take this to the next level? And I don't know, just
I can't. Like, I feel like you didn't watch the same movie because the whole movie is the next level. Like, everything keeps going up. That movie is so insanely smart. And it like, actually speaks to like LGBT things in a very like relatable way. I know a lot of my LGBT friends love this movie, treat it like the Bible. Like, there is just so many things that other movies don't get to do that aren't Bottoms. That movie's like, I love it more than most movies. I honestly recommend it higher than anything I've mentioned today. Elvis can never be seen compared to Bottoms. I can't even begin to stress how much I loved Bottoms. Like, Bottoms, phenomenal.
I will say, the way you described it, Brian, it sounds right in your wheelhouse of humor. You know,
fair. That's fair.
Just saying, it might just sort of hit your sweet spot. But
I'm not alone on this one. Not even remotely alone on this one.
Okay, all right.
There is one scene, and it's a little thing that gives it a whole like even 1-star improvement over what I was going to rate it to begin with. And they're in the cafeteria. And I forget what Jeff says, but they talk about the pineapple thing. They're just like, pineapple, see the sign? It's like, fuck you, Janice. And then they throw the pineapple thing. And it hits the hits the goth kid. And he's like, okay, I guess I'm going to do this now. And he starts writing how to make a bomb. And I just like lost it at that scene. That one isolated
movie
moment.
is so damn funny. 90% Rotten Tomatoes, 74 Metacritic. This is a good movie. Good movie.
I just
yes, it's up my alley, but good movie. I'm not letting John go with this one. Like, if you'd picked a different movie, I was like, oh, I guess I kind of like that. I wonder why he didn't like it. No, this one I'm fired up on. I have gotten so many people to watch this movie. It is so good.
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't usually disagree with John this harshly. He and I are usually on the same page. I'm surprised. I am shocked you didn't like. Not only didn't like it, you said it was bad. Like,
yeah.
Whoa.
I know the easy answer to this is it was funny, but like what did you have expectations for that it didn't follow through with?
I would say maybe the more of the violence, I guess, and I think more a focus on. I don't know. It became too many people at once. Like, it became too many people in the thing, and not solely them. But the biggest thing for me was the violence. I think. Yeah, I don't know. It just visually this could have been even more. I think in terms of its violence, they got some punching and fighting out of the way, but at every point I was just like, okay, this is the good first part. Like, let's see this escalate. Let's see this get worse, and then it finally does at the end. But the end should have been the middle, and then it should have been further. I don't know. I
wholeheartedly disagree. I think the ramp up makes the end worthwhile. Like, the fact that there's very little throughout, and then by the end it's just a full-blown showcase. I think that's why the end feels as good as it does. If they'd done that throughout, you'd be missing out on the rest of the plot. Like, then it would only be about the violence. The movie's not about violence at all. Like, that's not the point of the movie.
But then they also do this, like, there's a scene where they TP Jeff's house, and they have him dancing, and it's never zoomed out to see him dancing, other than just like this kind of view, and he's dancing and partially off the screen. And it's supposed to be funny, him dancing to what was it? Total Eclipse of the Heart, was it?
That sounds right. I don't remember the song, but yeah, it sounds right.
It's one of those songs. Turn around, whatever that
Yeah.
one is. Yeah, it's that, and it's supposed to be funny. It's like, okay, this is set up, and they're egging the place, and it's just not choreographed, but like structured. I'm blanking on the phrasing here, but it just isn't built. The scene isn't built well to see the. It's not funny because I'm not seeing enough of it. So he's dancing. I'm like, well, how are you dancing other than just like moving your hands and singing with the headphones? Like, there's not enough here. And they're being so goofy out there with the egging and the ski masks and all that. It's like I could see what they're going for, but I was waiting for it to just really kind of hit a fun comedic note in that scene, and it did. And that was a really irritating scene for me, actually.
I guarantee you it's not half as irritating as this conversation is.
I just been watching Brian's face here for a moment. He has the whole like teeth on the bottom. Look like, wait till you're done.
No, I'm not gonna keep doing it. Like, I don't want to steal John's thunder, but like I thought that scene was absolutely hilarious, and I thought it was perfect. Like I have very few notes on this movie. Like there are very, very few movies that I will recommend as highly as I recommend Bottoms. Like that's as far away as we are on this spectrum. Like Bottoms to me
is very interesting.
I think
Near
it's worth
perfect.
a shot.
I would say it's worth watching at least, though. That's the thing is like I waffle back and forth with some of these ones that don't get me or irritate me, and I think it's still worth watching. There's still parts of it that worked despite the whole not working for me. So like I can give that at least.
Here's my final caveat on it. That is, if you go in expecting a female Fight Club movie and you just want fighting, you're watching the wrong movie. That's not what this is at all. This is about not knowing who you are or not knowing who your friends are and trying to find yourself in high school when that can be near impossible. And they do so by telling it through a very heightened high school that does not exist, and everything is just the right level of ridiculous. It's not a Fight Club movie. So if you're going in expecting the violence and wanting the violence, you're not going to get it. That's not the movie you're watching. You're watching the wrong film.
Yeah, and maybe that to the point of the marketing of it. That's kind of what the marketing was promising. And
so that's why I don't watch trailers. I never saw a trailer for it. I just saw the movie.
Well, I've had to work on things marketing for it, so
Sure.
I've been engrossed in all the marketing for it, whether I wanted to or not. So, yeah.
I would say give it another shot, not thinking about female Fight Club, and just watch it for what it is, because what it is brilliant and very, very, very good. I'm hoping to see all these people in everything from here on out, but that's me. Clearly not everyone.
We barely disagree on things, so yeah, I am okay with us disagreeing.
I think you need to watch it again, and you're going to come back around.
It's leaving streaming, so I wouldn't pay for it.
I'll buy it for you. Don't worry.
Where is it on streaming for those who want to watch?
Prime.
What was it? Amazon, I think.
Right.
Yeah, Amazon.
Amazon Prime. All right.
There we go. Good old
Can't
Thanksgiving
not
movie.
have Prime, so.
God.
All right. Well, we've talked about some movies that you can skip, some you should not skip. Like Elvis, right? I've moved past the other one. just talk about Elvis. Don't skip Elvis. Talking about some board games that I absolutely won't play, but if you're into them, you should absolutely check them out. If I have to
Don't
read
be too
for my
hasty.
board, yeah, I'll just read Lord of the Rings. I'm looking for the game. But yeah, this has been a fun conversation, even if it did end in such a sour place. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get past it. Last week I said
you'll
for a
live the
very
podcast
different
again.
thing. This is why I don't try to look at notes before we record, so you can get an honest reaction. I did not know that was John's pick, and I'm just like, I was not mentally ready for that.
Yeah, you thought you were going to get us with the warm-up. I got you in the back end.
Yeah, right when we're trying to leave. And now I'm all fired up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch Bottoms as soon as we're done recording this. That's what I'm going to watch, because it's that good. Damn it. I said I'd get over it, and then I lied. Let's do some plugs for this show. For this show, check out where you're already watching it. But for the other show with me and Joel on it, be sure to check out Binge Buddies. We are just now finishing up 9 Nights with Freddy, which has it's not gone well.
I've been watching your descent into madness very closely. And,
Man. We are releasing 2 episodes next week because I didn't have time to cut it this week because, like I said, I'm doing 12-hour days pretty much every day. So we'll have 2 coming out next week, and then 1 more after that. And all right, 1, 2 more, 1. We'll figure it out. We're trying to get the Freddy vs. Jason to come out on December 13th because it's Friday 13th. That's the goal. And then we'll have to do a wrap up after that. But be sure to check it out because even if the movies have been insanely terrible, is where I put it, the conversations have been a lot of fun to have. And we've been beating up on poor Ryan, and he's been trying to defend them, even though he's like, I don't even like these, but I feel like one of us should defend it. And poor Ryan drew the short straw there. But he's been doing an excellent job. I'll be way nicer to him here than I ever am on our show. I'm not too mean to him on the show, but I am just when it comes to the nicknames. But yeah, the movies they're bad. I do not understand the Freddy fandom, and I really thought I would at this point, and I don't get it.
It goes back to there's potential there.
Lots of potential.
There's real potential, and very few have seemed to understand what makes a Freddy movie work.
So you're saying that I shouldn't watch the other ones after 3?
Stop. Just stop.
Okay.
You've done it.
That Freddy versus Jason.
I like Freddy versus Jason.
I like Freddy versus Jason too. Thank you.
Yeah,
I feel so welcome here. It's not the response we get at Binge Buddies. I like Freddy versus Jason. Well, I guess it's okay when we're watching nightmare movies, but Jason sucks. Okay.
No, Freddy versus Jason is a warm blanket.
It is. It's fun. It's fun. It's not great. It's fun. That's my extremely long-winded plug for Binge Buddies. There we go. I did it. Joel, Kelly, what do you got to plug?
Afterthoughts with Joel and Kelly. We are still.
Are you doing it?
Yes, we are. We are.
You're really
doing it.
And we are getting there, but you're putting
it down again, aren't you?
We are.
I've got a lot of driving planned in December, so I've got my plan to knock out Dune already.
So yes,
so
we're gonna knock that out, but we're going to be doing another read in between then and now and then. So, but anyway, so afterthoughts with us, and yes, the next big one is Dune. So that's what we're getting ready for.
Love Dune almost as much as I love Bottoms. I had to get one more in there. Had to get one more. John, what about you? What you got plugging?
Still Demon Days. We haven't really been doing a whole lot with it just because of me being busy. Nowhere near as busy as you, of course, but still busy enough to be like, when I sit down to edit, I'm like, no. Nope.
I feel that.
Even so much so that I signed up for StreamYard. It was like, how can we not edit?
Let's edit less.
Yeah.
We're gonna edit out editing.
It turns out when your job is the thing you like to do, sometimes you just don't want to do that thing you like to do at the end of doing that thing. You do.
I just watched that movie last week. That movie holds up, man. Like that's actually what got me in the mood to watch Elvis. Was I watched that thing you do with Corin? That got me on Elvis. He's way better. He's way better in that thing you do.
I will say that we are looking into ways to do what we're doing here with Demon Days. Just still early stages, and I've got to kind of do my research mode. But there are still episodes, tons of episodes to listen to of Demon Days, and they're all great. And Brian, as a bullywug, is also great. So.
I have a way better recording setup now, right? When you haven't been recording a lot, but I could do it a lot better now.
Well, now it's done.
Bummer.
Time to hang in the towel. Oh no. But yeah, I highly recommend it regardless because it's a great crew, and worthwhile. Also, I've been doing some game streaming on the After the Hype channel just to get some Baldur's Gate in again. Another excuse to play Baldur's Gate. and I'm playing it with as close as I could get to an approximation of me, which wasn't very close, but we're going with it.
I should do that for Sekiro. I should just play Sekiro on the channel. It'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
You could.
Sekiro's so good. So good.
Or you cheerlead one of us playing Sekiro, just being like, "You got this! You got this!
Oh, yeah.
Watch out for that!"
Yep. You got to time that block better. Yep. You got to time that block better. Yep. Time that one
That
better.
would get
No.
obnoxious.
Yeah. Oh no, your timing's off again.
Angry.
Oh, you logged
Oh.
off. Oh, interesting. Disconnected? What's that? What? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me chat to him. You should have blocked that better.
Yeah, you should have timed that block better. It's a rhythm game. You'll get it when it clicks. It is true.
At its most basic level, yes, you are correct.
I know. I played it 4 times, man. I got through it.
Yeah.
And I'll do it 4 more. It's a great game. Great. Joel. God, Joel with Sekiro, John with Bottoms. This has been a rough episode for me.
I appreciate Sekiro for what it is. It is a personal limitation.
Yeah. It gives me a new idea, a great new idea for a podcast episode where we just see how hard we can aggravate Brian.
It's not hard. It's really not hard.
Turns out it's not hard. We just don't tell him what's on the notes, and it's just all sorts of things he loves that we are only okay with, and then we just talk about it in a way that would just make you blow a gasket.
We're going to start with why Terminator 2 is the worst Terminator movie. Hold the fuck up.
Well, you got to save that as the finale. Just being like, hey, you know what? It's actually kind of mid compared to the first one. Ooh.
I don't even like you joking about it.
See,
I can't even joke about it without laughing because it's not true. The two is the best one.
So you take that tact. I'll take the tact of thinking about things that I don't know whether Brian likes or not, and then come with a list of those. Because I feel like that might bother Brian more than the direct attack.
You're so not wrong, and I hate you for it.
All right, we get to planning. This will be a surprise January attack.
That's a new podcast. Just piss off Brian. Thanks, guys. It's gonna go great. I'm game for it, honestly.
And we'll mute your mic the whole time, so you can only just like.
Oh, you just have me. You're great.
Yep.
Full Swedish chef.
Borky, fuck you, Borky.
We did a Muppets ranking. That was a fun episode. We are in pure garbage time now. We've been talking for almost an hour and a half. We need to say goodbye. We need to just do this. I need to pull the ripcord. We're done. Did anyone else? Joel, you didn't get to do your plug. Super GG Radio. Go check them out. They do great stuff. There, I did your plug for you. Anything else? Anything else? No?
No.
Yeah, there is one more. So we have 2 more episodes planned for the rest of this year. We're going to try to schedule them out as best we can. We're going to try to do unconventional holiday movies, which will be movies that you want to watch around the holidays that are not necessarily holiday films. That's going to be open interpretation. I'm really excited for that one. And then we're going to try to do a best of 2024. Categories will be announced as we record the episode. It's going to be kind of the way I'm thinking about it. It's going to be what was your favorite things from 2024? Go. Whatever the hell it is going to be what it is. And I think that'll be a really fun way to do it. Was it a book? Was it a movie? Was it something from 2019? I don't know. Whatever your favorite thing was from this year is what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a long-winded way for me to talk more about Sekiro. I'm just going to spoil it now.
2023.
1 through 10 is Sekiro.
Sekiro is the best
For every
thing
time I
from
played it. 1 through 10, all my playthroughs. I hated
So-
playthrough 3, but 4 was great.
You're actually not that far off. I won't get in a while. I'll let us finish. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. I love doing this. Be good.
Peace.